Hey, I'm Janey, and this is a Patriot mega truck.
All right, so now we're back again, second time now in a year, and you got a lot of new things on this truck. Tell me a little bit about this truck.
The motor's been all redone. It's got new ball bearing turbos. It's got new injectors. It's got a 13 mil pump on it. It's got all new fuel lines, fuel cell mount, new shocks. Transmission's been gone through, all updated with everything billet. It's got a billet lockup converter in it now. It has all new hydraulic system for the steps and the steering, pumps, switches. It's got new limit chains. I prefer the chains rather than straps. It's got all new containment for the center shaft. Got rid of all the zip ties. It's got the billet updated mounts for my hydraulic system, my hydraulic lines on the links. It has a new rear tire. It's got a bunch of stuff. Most of it's completely redone. I'm working on getting a data logger for it right now. Having a little bit of issues with that being it's a mechanical engine, but I'm working on getting a data logger system for it to monitor everything.
You talked on the phone about, I don't know, a couple of days ago, and you were talking about how the one time I was at Howie's Mud Bog in Minnesota, you ended up having a whole bunch of issues with the truck, and you're like, yeah, you gotta have it. You got a really cool photo of it, so you gotta have video footage of it. And I was shooting like 12-inch flames, you know. So tell me a little bit about that day, because we did find the footage.
So that day in particular, we didn't know it, but we had harmed the engine earlier that year at Mudfest. I had tarnished fuel, unbeknownst to us, from the truck sitting in storage, and that took out the injectors. Combination of that and the truck overheating due to the improper cooling system we had. Between the heat, the tarnished fuel, which wrecked the injectors, we basically detonated the engine, sending shrapnel through the turbos, through the head. Basically everything under the hood is all new once again, bigger and better. Like I said, it has a 13 mil pump, bigger injectors, completely different setup, all new intake, exhaust manifold, everything's new.
So where did the name Patriot come from?
I come from a long line of patriotic people that believe in our country, what our country stands for. My grandfather, my uncle, my dad, my mom, my grandma, everybody in my family is kind of a do it all type of person where there's nothing that they can't do. Their work ethic is among the best that I know, and it's people like my family and others that keep this country going. So this was like kind of like a tribute to my family, other people's family, and service members. Well, this truck started off really cheap and really simple. It was going to be a straight frame chain case 5-ton truck on 28Ls with just a generic Cummins diesel for the reason of this. I had another race truck with 1,800 horsepower that I had built, and I'm not a person to hop in a mud truck, drive it for 20 minutes, and that's my weekend. So I like to drive around with buddies, you know, pull people out, not get stuck, just have fun. And that's what the goal was with this, and it just got out of hand and escalated like most other guys' projects do.
I mean, that went out of hand quick.
Yeah, it went from like I said, 5 tons, chain case, a semi-rusted body with 28Ls, and then I'm gonna blame that on the builder, Chris. He talked me into, well, you're doing a nice chassis, we're doing a full tube, there's nothing original, there's no original frame on this truck, it's all tube, like an actual monster truck per se. You can't just put a chain case in it. That's exactly how the conversation went. So we talked to SES and got a 23-inch case. Because we dropped the center of gravity, the motor sits approximately a foot lower and 6 inches back, which in most cases we would probably need a 30-inch case. And then it went from, well, 5 tons aren't going to hold up, so you should build hybrids. So then we did 5-ton, 20-ton outers, and it just progressed. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to be spending this money, I'm not just going to rattle can it flat black and call it a day. So it was kind of like a dual purpose thing at this point, where it's not just a mud truck, it could very well win shows and go to parades and stuff and look nice. And so every attention to detail is just, there's not a square inch on this truck that it wasn't thought out ahead of time or addressed.
And we go quite a ways back. I mean, I think we were talking about that, what, 8, 9 years now, I think it's been that me and you known each other. And we first met at Howie's.
Yep.
And then after that, we kind of linked up, did a couple quick cool little shots. One was when I was working at MTH doing some promo videos there. We ended up linking up at GRX, right? Is that what the place was called? Or ERX?
ERX.
ERX.
And that's a big motorsports complex. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the first time you ever drove or flew a drone underneath a vehicle.
And it was some scary stuff. I remember telling my wife about it. I think she was there during that time, but she didn't get to go to that photo shoot.
Yeah, you were pretty pumped.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting thing. That was the coolest thing, you know, to fly a drone underneath a mud truck while rolling.
Yeah, and that's when the truck had 74s, which I still have. Definitely was a lot easier to work on, a lot easier to haul, but I like the look of the 35.5s.
Any scary moments in that truck that you've had though?
The first time we had the truck in the mud, I was going through a mud hole deep enough to swallow the 74s, and we were pretty far over to the point where I think every person in the truck thought we were going to tip, and that was literally like 10 minutes into driving in the mud. That same day, we shelled out the T-case, burned up all the bearings, so it locked up solid. So that was our maiden voyage. Other than that, loading it on the trailer after Howie's with an excavator and 2 pieces of heavy equipment. That was a little sketchy. Took 3 hours to load, but other than that, the truck, you know, I don't have experience with the new shocks. It's about 12 inches taller. I'm kind of back and forth on how I feel on that. I might drop it down a little bit more. But with the previous setup, it had such a low center of gravity with the shocks completely out to the ends of the axles, and I felt very confident with it would take a lot for this to tip over anything. So. My bog truck, and then I wanted to just drive this truck around and have fun all weekend. That's why it's got a diesel. On average for a weekend, I go through $30 of fuel. You know, most guys go through that in an event in probably 30 minutes, maybe, if that. So it's made for fun. It's meant for, you know, I can haul kids in there. Kids love it. The steps make it easy for people to get in and out. The other hate that I get for it is, does that thing ever get dirty? Yes, it gets dirty. It's very dirty. I just spend 40 hours hand scrubbing it when it's done. I take a lot of care of it. There's a lot of attention to detail, so that's the biggest hate that I get per se. I just let it roll off my shoulders for the most part.
I mean, you took some pretty big hate with a semi, like, I guess, viral video last year from Howie's. You know, let's talk about that. I mean, you were on the tug pad.
Yeah.
And obviously I was filming. There was multiple people filming it. And who would have thought the hate that would have came out of something so, I guess, simple of an issue, really. But I mean, tell us how did that happen?
Well, what leading up to the event, I literally just completely redid the motor. The motor, like I said, from a couple of years earlier, we blew it up in the bounty hole, or blew it up as we were coming out of the bounty hole, which led to a catastrophic failure. I mean, injectors, pump, turbos, bottom end, head. So all that stuff is new. Well, that takes a lot of resources, time, money, and the truck was sitting. So when I got it up and running, we're just pumped, we're jazzed, we get it loaded up, you know, and everything's always last minute, of course, just like everyone else. We get it to the event, and I'm just struggling. My rear steer electric pump was going out, and it had a mind of its own. It would work now, it wouldn't work. Later on, we figured out that due to low voltage, it tore out both my hydraulic pumps. So throughout the event, we were just trying to, I didn't even really mud it because we were just plagued with steering issues. So we got to the tug of war, and I had communicated that with this particular gentleman. We got along great. Everything's new on the truck, like I said. We didn't even have time to finish certain things on it, like the intercooler charge tube was just a straight pipe that we had bent, and we had the intercooler rubber grommets on it, or the boots. So when I was pulling, I was being overzealous, and I was doing a third gear start, which I should have never done a third gear, but I did, just to put on a little show or whatever, and it blew the charge side boot off. Well, I mean, easy fix. I talked to the gentleman, he said, yeah, I'll wait 5 minutes. Got the charge side boot on because I had lost all power. It was like 100 horsepower, like tractor basically. Lined back up, and then I pulled the guy, and there was some hurt feelings about it. And because of that, you know, him and I shook hands, and we both agreed to split the winnings, which was $1,000. I think we both walked away with $500. No harm, no foul. I was fine. And then It got posted, and all the keyboard warriors were hard at it because it was a piece of junk, and you know, the shocks this and the limit straps that. It's like I literally went from the campsite, had to be chauffeured all the way there because my rear steer wasn't working. Then it was. Got there, blew the boot off. Still tried to put on a show with 100 horsepower, which we weren't moving, so I just gave up. So since then, all those issues that were pointed out, we pulled out the charge side tube, lengthened it 3 inches, put flanges on it, double clamped it. It's got all new steering pumps. I got a new steering pump from Bobby Brown that does both the steps and the rear steer. So I'm hoping, you know, once again, everything's new coming into this event. You know, it's still work out some bugs, but you know, that's the name of the game. I mean, sometimes you put on a show and sometimes you don't. And how you walk away with it is all you can do is just fix it and make it better.